on the porch. You've been working twice as hard for something you already got. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Friends are coming through the door. Wheels are spinning on the floor. We don't know what we don't know. That's the only way to grow. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. What you're looking for is in your hand, been there all along. Pour another cup and pull a chair. Sing along. Another orange morning, it's time to show. Another orange morning, it's time to grow. Another orange morning, let the updates flow. Another orange morning, you already know. Hey! Hey!
Good morning, HubSpot Nation. Welcome back to another Orange Morning. It is Thursday, July 16th, 2016, and I this morning am joined by Rylee Powell, who has a beautiful background today.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. I am not Carolan, as you can tell. Rylee Powell jumping in.
You can tell by
ready-
the lack of beard. That's
lack
the,
of
that's
beard
the tell.
for sure.
Yes, today is Chris's last day doing the AI boot camp. And so he will be back tomorrow, Friday, with Madeline, but lucky to have Rylee Powell with me today.
Yeah, happy to be here.
All right. So before we jump into updates, Rylee, I was wondering if there is a specific HubSpot, how do I want to frame it? Feature or tool that you would like to throw into a volcano?
Oof. I don't know.
I had more time.
Yours.
I had more time to think about this. I spent most of the time that I would be thinking about it, finding the best picture to pull up. But regardless, most recently, the funnel style report. I don't know if I'm explaining this well.
No, I'm with you.
Yeah, it is a funnel report.
Yep.
So this is marketing qualified lead, sure. This is the report that I would like to throw into a volcano personally. Because
the last time I looked at this one, I agree. It's like it has everything conceptually that I'm like, oh, I would want to use this to do X, Y, and Z. And then when I get in to do it, I'm like, I can do none of these things.
Exactly. That is my exact pain point with it. And I just had a client I was messing with this report with last week, and they, like many people, had, like every other time I've tried to use this report, they're like, why does the report say 0 marketing qualified leads? I have this other report that shows me that we've generated 60 marketing qualified leads this quarter or whatever. And every time I'm like, I know the report's not perfect, so let me dig in because I don't want to give you a wrong answer. And it's always the same. All of these things have to happen in this time period, which isn't like how life works.
No, it's not intuitive to figure out. It's also like, again, that's a very useful tiny slice of information. Like,
Mhm.
and I can see a world where you do want to report on that, but that is so zoomed in something
Mhm.
that, yeah, for most businesses with like longer cycles and things like that. I mean, it's the amount of effort that it takes to get organized around this report and to see what it's saying, to then be able to, like, it leaves out everything that, say they've changed one stage outside of this time frame, then they're just left out of the entire thing completely.
Mhm. And I'm lucky for this specific client that they're pretty new to HubSpot. So I'm just able to right now say last 365 days, and that shows everybody. But we are mere months away from that not working either.
Right.
And then everyone that was created before that is just not going to show up in the report. So
Yeah.
this
No,
is
it's just one of those things that the boundaries of it are just a little too rigid. Of like, well, I like the function out. Like, I want to be able to create this kind of view, but break apart the rigid structure of this event timestamp thing.
and it looks nice. And so like my client, for example, was like, yes, this is exactly what I want to see. But why is it only showing?
Yeah. To me, this, if you, the Sankey is like my favorite thing in the world, but it suffers from the same problem of just everything has to have happened within that time frame. And then additionally, this to me is one of those things that is, there's like a category of HubSpot stuff that I say is like the cherry on top of perfect. And this is one. Like, once you have perfect structure around your data and perfect automations and perfect everything, this is like chef's kiss, because then it will work very, very well. But if you do not have like just perfect data structure and segmentation,
Have you ever been in a portal?
nope, never once. Never once.
I'm waiting for the day.
Yeah. And so if it's anything, it's part of me feels like some of those just cherry on top functionalities are the ones that I would throw into a volcano, just because I'm like, I just don't think they're attainable. Like, or at the very least, they just constantly are a reminder of my own insignificance of being unable to get a portal into that clean state.
Yes, that's fair. That's fair. Because yeah, I mean, we go through updates all the time, and there are times where I read an update and I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And then I go to implement it and I'm like, oh, well, it doesn't work because my data's, I don't work in a single portal where my data is perfect.
Exactly. And I know one day I'll probably meet someone that is running a perfect portal, and I'll just be so jealous and upset. But until I do, I still feel good that maybe they're building for the ideal, not for the realistic.
Well, there we go. So
volcano.
We do have a lot of updates today. I can't even count this high. But so we'll get through as many of them as we have time for, basically, and happy to deep dive in anything that feels interesting. Rylee,
I didn't know that the first two were not possible. I do have.
You want to start there?
Yeah, just for the people that use these on their phone, and I sometimes do. It's really tricky if you're an admin to like use it on the phone, because you can't do most admin things on your device. But
it surprises me that you use the app. I don't. So for anyone that's listening, not watching, the first two updates on the page are conditional property logic when editing records on Android and conditional property logic when editing records on iOS. We'll go ahead and read the Android one mostly so that people don't think that I'm a hater of Androids, even though I am. But know that this is the same update for both devices. So what is this? When editing CRM records in the HubSpot mobile app, you can now see the same conditional property logic that admins configure in HubSpot, including follow-up fields, required information, and dependent options applied throughout the editing flow, not just when creating records.
Why does it matter? Before this update, admin-defined conditional logic applied when creating records on mobile, but not when editing existing ones. That gap made it easier for important data rules to be skipped when reps updated record in the field, leading to incomplete records and inconsistent pipeline data. Now editing records on mobile follows the same rules admins have already set up in HubSpot. Rep can make updates confidently from anywhere, and teams get more complete, reliable data without extra cleanup.
This seems like a big gap. And like I said, like you were saying, the app itself is not ideal for admins. So I don't do a ton of work in the app. I actually don't think it's downloaded on my on my phone right now. I've had it before, but every time I'm like, this doesn't like do anything for me. And a lot of times if I'm going on a vacation, especially I do some like work vacations, I'll oftentimes like download it right before then and then be like, what? I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
I just have, and I have a lot of Slack alerts and things that are like a record did this and they're going to a channel or something. And I, a lot of times like to just click on the view record button on my phone and, looking at anything on the browser is horrible. So I would pull it up. I would pull it up in the app and be able to look at it. And sometimes I would feel like I need to make a change to a record. Yeah.
Carolan, I agree. Like any millennial, I need to do important and heavy thinking tasks on a laptop versus a phone. I agree.
Yes,
with that
agreed. Sure. But I didn't realize that this wasn't a thing, just from the user perspective. And I like that. I think if someone is configuring conditional property logic, they want it to kind of apply in every scenario. And actually, this is in line with another problem that I'm realizing is a thing where I hope we can progress towards. I don't imagine it will function the same, but where AI, MCP, CLI, like where those things do not care about your carefully defined conditional property logic whatsoever. If Claude wants to update the deal type to be XYZ and you've set it to where there's now required properties, Claude does not care about those properties. It will just set the deal type to XYZ and then it will stop. And so I hope that this is like eventually going to maybe apply to every single place that conditional property logic should be applied to.
Yeah.
Because AI doesn't really care about your rules.
I agree. So I didn't realize this was a problem. I work mostly with SaaS companies, and most SaaS salespeople are working from their computers. I think this comes up more if you're talking, a lot more like in-person businesses. I don't know. I'm thinking
a lot of conferences. I see, especially now that they've got Breeze integrated into the HubSpot app. A lot of people work in the floor at a conference.
That's a really good place.
We have tutorials on how to use the phone, and especially if you're qualifying a lead and you have conditional properties set up for lead progression stages or things like that. So most of the time I see this used or would see it being useful would be field sales at conferences.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. Well, great update.
Yeah, to me, I like seeing those little small things where like, oh, okay. I like that people are still finding these little gaps and they're working on them.
All right. I have a brand to uphold. There are 2 updates on the screen that are very on brand for me, but I'm going to start with
the word score. Yeah.
Score. If I have 2 brands, the one brand is scoring and the other brand is product updates. So
this is combined.
So this update is Score high impact pages with AI powered insights. What changed? This beta is going into live GA general availability, launching for all customers with additional functionality starting July 20th through July 29th. No action needed by users. So if you don't know, it's fairly common that updates will kind of roll out. So you'll start seeing them in some portals, but not all portals. So it looks like this update specifically is going to start rolling out to portals starting July 20th. What is this update? Lead scoring users can now view insights and score their high impact web pages using conversion performance data. Insight can be customized across goal stages and include the specific web pages, URL paths, conversion rates based on the number and percentage of companies that visited the page, and confidence level based on impact. This beta is going into general availability for all customers. That's the same thing that I said at the beginning. Why does this matter?
Web page visits are one of the strongest engagement signals for measuring lead intent. High impact insights leverage your portal's historical conversion data to show which pages actually drive conversions, so you can score based on proven performance rather than assumption. This results in more accurate scores and better lead prioritization for your sales team. I agree with that.
Have you seen this already by any chance, Rylee?
I have not.
Cool. So we can go over and check it out. So this is a feature within the lead scoring app. Currently, it is still in beta, so it still needs to be opted. Wrong X I was clicking on. Whew. I could do this show on my own. Who needs Chris? So if you are trying to look at this today, July 16th, you may still need to opt into it, but it will start rolling out next week, I guess, probably. But we have these new options for pages, which this demo portal is not the best portal to test this in because it doesn't actually have pages, obviously. That's fine. We'll do it in a different place that might work. Who knows? But when it works, it will show you the pages that it is seeing people visit. So if I need to add an event criteria, I need this to be page visits. And then I can see high impact pages. I can set the goal of this. So I'm going to say, I want to see, these are all life cycle stages. This portal has those life cycle stages customized. But if I want to see the goal of hand raisers, I might pick MQLs, I might pick buyers or something like this. Also not a great portal. So we're just going to go with everyone. But then it's going to show me the pages that people are visiting by the percentage. So then I can apply that to my scoring and say, okay, this page seems to be a lot of people who end up being a customer visit this page. I always still recommend looking at them. Oftentimes I feel some of them are like obvious, like if you had a customer login page, 100% of customers visit the login page. Like, okay, that doesn't actually tell me that much, because at the end of the day, when we're looking at lead scoring, we're trying to figure out what people are doing before they become a customer, before they become a hand raiser. So always, take that stuff into consideration. But it will preview these, and in this case, it looked at 32 companies, and 1 out of 32 companies that visited this page became whatever my goal is in this case. So that's giving me medium confidence.
Yeah, but I can see that being super useful, especially once you start getting really nuanced and you have like a complicated website that has a bunch of different conversion pages and like intent sections. I think anything that is providing data, true real data into anything intent is super useful. Because when you just have people vibing intent, I don't think it's really ever that accurate. The things that we often design for the highest levels of intent are not always the thing that is like where people convert. So anything that like this that is just putting the actual truth of the data in your face, I think is excellent.
Yeah. So Rylee and I've built a few scores together, and so I'm lucky to work with Rylee, who is very good at not just going to face value. I think many times people build scores and think they can they just know how the website was built and how it was intended to be experienced. But this is just one way that you can take that and say, okay, sure, we built this page for people looking to buy, but crazy enough, most people who are buying are going to this other page, like this. I looked at this. They're going to our free tools page. That's, that's a way bigger influencer than we would have expected. And then oftentimes as a marketer, I can kind of figure that out in my head and say, okay, so they tried our free tools and they liked our free tools well enough to end up purchasing something. So maybe we should put some more effort into making sure our free tools are useful so people want to buy the full thing.
Yep.
Oh my God, I did it again. Too many X's on the page. All right. What else is interesting to you, Rylee?
I've got some that are just very interesting in where I'm at with some existing things in work. I do want to check on this data-driven market discovery with performance insights. That's not the one that I want to go into the call recording settings per user team, but I want to figure out what this one is since it's just linear, since it's the next one in line.
Okay, and then I'm gonna do, so we'll do the next 3 right in a row then.
Okay. We could skip the personalized product updates unless you really want to go into it, because that is your also.
That's my other brand.
Yeah.
Data-driven market discovery with performance insights. What is this? Market segments automatically identify and define the markets where you actually win. By analyzing your HubSpot data, firmographics, closed-won deals, intent, market segments create dynamic data-backed segments that are ready to use for your marketing and sales campaigns.
Why does it matter? This first sentence is a very true statement. Most teams spend weeks or months, or in my cases, multiple years, defining markets, ICPs, you could also call them verticals or segments, in spreadsheets, only for them to become outdated, fragmented, and disconnected from day-to-day execution. Yes. Market segments is our first step in solving this problem by turning your historical data into a unified living system of truth for where you win. With market segments, you can discover your best markets automatically based on actual closed-won deals. Unify your targeting strategy into one system that connects across HubSpot. Continuously adapt to change as your business evolves. Identify companies that match your market definition but do not exist in your CRM. Market segments also recognize that you may operate in more than one market. Market segments help you uncover and prioritize multiple high-performing markets, so you can tailor your strategy, focus your teams, and capture more opportunities. The result, clearer prioritization, better alignment across teams, and faster, more confident go-to-market execution. I'm very interested in what this actually is. Could you click on that image?
Yes. I think you will find this very interesting. And I talked about this yesterday with Zach Hushin, and one thing I pointed out is I'm curious how this will connect potentially with lead scoring and specifically our fit criteria, because one thing, a pain point I have with building fit scores is, like we were discussing before, they often are established based on what people think their audiences or their customers are, and sometimes that doesn't actually match up with the data. And our audiences are often evolving. And so the idea of having these kind of as dynamic segments and dynamic criteria makes me wonder if we'll be able to kind of incorporate this in our fit scoring moving forward or something like that.
Yeah, I've solved for this with custom objects, and I've created a custom object called vertical, which is equivalent to market. But to me, there's kind of 3 or 4 places that this idea exists inside of HubSpot. There's also markets, which is used to power your signals and buyer intent session to a little bit. Like, you can configure certain markets and ICPs. And there's another area that is I think in your AI context called ICPs, where you define those. And I don't know why all these are so disjointed. that to me is really, I was hoping this was going to be some more coalescence, I guess, around that, where I feel like I have to go configure markets in 3 or 4 places inside of HubSpot. And then there's still an entire, I would say, exercise around how are you doing your markets or your verticals? And looking at some best practice studies. Some, it makes sense to just align based on SIC codes and NAICS codes of like, okay, this is manufacturing, period, regardless of what kind of manufacturing it is. We're just going to categorize this vertical as manufacturing. Where others, you create these kind of, what are they collectively working towards? So built environment as a vertical. That includes architects and engineers. It also includes manufacturers that manufacture building products. It also includes like lawyers that specialize in. So it includes a bunch of different functional organizations, but the industry that they're kind of falling up into is this bubble of built environment. And I don't know, I still don't think this kind of helps. I don't know how you would configure that in here. I'm very interested in what this actually is going to do, but the idea of markets and verticals is very intriguing to me. And the more that we can kind of help everyone identify what those are and then define them inside of our LLMs and have, unified context, the better.
Yeah. I am curious how this will work like in action and how teams will leverage these, but I'll say optimistic about where this is going.
Yeah.
And it looks like Chris was playing with this yesterday.
Yeah, to me, this looks very much like what the market section was in your settings. You remember, do you know where that is? I don't know if this still has that in there potentially, but
let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So it looks like this is just, okay, markets are moving to the segment app. All right, this is the exact same thing.
It is.
But
it is the evolution of that.
Yes. All right, that's good. This is getting out of settings, which is nice. Okay, I like this being here. I just wish it was unified across all the things that are considered markets. Like, I still feel like there's still an AI context section that is ICP, that if you're using prospecting agent, that is how it's determining your ICP or your market, not looking at what you've configured as a market. You know what I mean? Like, I took all the time to go in and put all this information in, and then I have to go replicate it somewhere else.
But you might not have to, right?
Eventually. I hope not.
So you can do this manually like I'm doing right now.
And if y'all are doing this special, huge shout out. If you're wanting to like copy and paste a bunch of stuff in here, if you do a spreadsheet with the row in column A being one of them and a semicolon in column B, and just all the way down, you can just copy and paste and they'll all enter.
So like, I can't find it quick enough, but yes, that is one of my favorite hacks that it took me way too long to.
Yeah, it was really one of the reasons I hated doing anything with lists. And now like, I can do this completely.
Cool. So now
in CRM, not in CRM to me is really great. The more that we can see not in CRM stuff and decide to potentially import into CRM, especially if we can combine those with signals and like, okay, once these not in CRM companies meet certain criteria, we bring them into the CRM. Chef's kiss.
Yeah. And then I also just want to.
This is obviously a huge thing from the Clearbit acquisition that they've like really pushed through.
Yeah, so this is also the cool part, which is Create Markets will analyze closed deals from the past 365 days. So this is very cool. This portal is not going to be great for it because it's a demo portal that doesn't have closed deals. Yeah, you need at least 50. That makes sense. But then it will, if you're not sure what your market segment is, this is a great place to kind of start figuring that out based on the data and seeing if it matches up with your expectations. Cool update. All right. How are we doing? Okay, personalized product updates. What's changed? Updated your betas tab to display both pending request and enrolled betas, making it easier to track your betas in one place. We don't have to go through this whole update, but if you are watching this and you're like, my updates page looks very different, Casey, than your updates page, this is the beta experience. It kind of has changed the updates. There's like a discover tab, this your betas tab, which now has pending requests in addition to betas I've joined. And then there's this nice save tab as well as the all updates. I find this to be a lot nicer than the previous version. Period. I'll stop there. Check it out.
I agree. This looks much nicer.
All right. So now call recording settings per user/team. What is it? Admins can configure call recordings at the user or team level, controlling which users or teams have recording enabled.
Why does it matter? Recording requirements vary by role and customer type. Per user and per team controls let admins apply the right recording configuration to the right people without a single blanket setting. Yeah.
Very nice. So you'll be able to go to your settings, your call setup, and call configurations, and change this. So this looks like this is the settings per like the portal. So call recordings, recording direction. And you can choose to record all calls, inbound only, outbound only, or customize per direction number or user. A lot of customization there.
This is good. We've had instances where CX team per se doesn't want to have some recordings on by default, just because they're either dealing with clients in highly scrutinized legal space or something like that, and it's just clunky to have to go in and like turn it off every time, because it's, to me, the right thing is to have it opted on by default to everyone, because if you opt out and have to ask people to turn it on, people will fail to turn it on. But it is also not a great experience for have it to always be on and have to have people turn it off, especially if like it's a meeting recording or something like that, and then the person gets there, the prospect gets their customer gets there before you do, and they see it, and that's just like strange. So being able to like configure it per user, per team, and things like that would be super helpful, where you could have a team that is opted in by default for recording and a team that is opted out but can then enable if they just so choose. So anything that gets more levers to pull, I'm a fan of. It does, add more administrative burden to like go configure all of these things correctly, but it's important and I like it.
Yeah, I think it is good. I love call recordings, but it's becoming more and more default, which I know not everyone is a fan of. So having more control over when and where these are placed, I think is all good.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to hit contract imports. So this is public beta. What is it? Contracts now live in HubSpot. This update enables customers to import contracts through HubSpot's import tool. Customers can now import active contracts from external systems and data sets into HubSpot and manage them with the same tools as the contracts created in HubSpot moving forward.
Why does it matter? If you're loving HubSpot's new contract product, but you're wondering how to migrate existing, ongoing, or live contracts that are being managed outside of HubSpot, this product update will finally enable you to do just that. Customers can use contract imports to bring existing active contracts from other platforms into HubSpot to manage changes, renewals, and reporting in one place and avoid the inefficiency and risk of managing contracts across multiple systems. This is great. It's 3 months too late for us for a place that I was just working, because we had to literally create a script to import in contracts as attachments, and that was such a nightmare. But now they are their own unique existing object And man, oh man, I cannot wait to become proficient in what the heck these actually are.
Yeah, so this is Revenue Hub Enterprise and Revenue Hub Professional. That makes sense because contracts are actually part of Revenue Hub altogether, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised to see that, but it is going to be really nice for teams using contracts. I actually have a project I'm working on right now where we've been using subscriptions but are considering moving to contracts instead.
So I'm curious on that, if you have time. I don't know if there's any more that you want to go into, but I want to ask your experience with contracts.
I don't have a ton, but sure.
Well, you also have one with subscription. I mean, I've been in some portals that say there's a renewal, and the way that they were doing it, it was a subscription. We weren't using a subscription object. We were just using deals. And the close date would like set a renewal date on the company record of here's the renewal date. And then, 180 days from that date, it'll create another deal. And it's like, this is a renewal deal. And then that's how you kind of managed the continued subscription, was just this kind of weird, clunky, create a bunch of deals, maybe have your own renewal pipeline that had its own structure to it. But, is that your experience in stuff like this? Is that common? Is that not? Are we moving away from that with this subscription object, contracts object, like all this other stuff?
That is how I've done renewals historically, correct. And that's actually kind of part of what I'm trying to evaluate if contracts would be a better fit for. Because subscriptions haven't always been the best fit for those. I personally use subscriptions for some of my clients. If we want to talk about things that I would like to throw in a volcano, subscriptions are maybe one of them. Like, they're really rigid. Every
time I've tried to figure out how to apply them, I was like, these just do not want to play well enough. Like, I cannot break apart what it's trying to do enough to make this useful.
And I had a typo in a subscription, like just the description. I just had a small typo in it. I had like an extra period or something stupid. And I had a really hard time figuring out where it was coming from. Finally figured it out, went to edit it. And it was like, to edit this, we're going to email your client and let them know that you've edited their subscription. And I was like, I barely edit, like, calm down.
Yeah.
My client's going to be like, what do you mean my subscription's changed? Like, nothing's changed. It was just a
typo correction. Yeah.
And even,
I imagine it's for like almost month-to-month subscriptions that are just set it and forget it type of things. And if anything else than that, like if it's kind of a more B2B subscription that's a little more nuanced, then it's so difficult to get those to play well. Contracts, I think, might be that place now for the more B2B. Like, all right, it's not necessarily like a Netflix subscription where it's like,
exactly,
$7.99 repeats every month, whatever.
Yeah. And if that changes, we'll send an email out and let them know that changed. And like, that's fine. But like, I just had an extra period I just wanted to remove. That's all.
Yeah.
And actually, I have a client we're changing their subscription. And I went to change it, but the same thing, like I've been back and forth with them like 100 times over like what we're changing. And then I went to change it and it was like, all right, we'll send an email out to everyone on the, I don't know, I'm being dramatic, but still, either way, it stopped me from changing it in HubSpot because I was just like, oh my God.
Yeah. And there's been a lot of times where I'm like, I want to make a record of this as the embodiment of it, but it's like, all right, well, we're going to send an invoice. I'm like, whoa. No, we've already got I just want to like make the record. And like, no, you cannot have a subscription without an invoice.
Yeah.
All right, my bad.
Never mind. So yeah, I'm excited. I haven't done contracts yet, and actually like rereading this update, I do wonder, well, I know for a fact my client isn't on Revenue Hub. So if we move forward with this, they're gonna have to purchase Revenue Hub, which might be a blocker, and we might just keep using subscriptions or the deal process as a workaround. But we'll see.
I don't know. Every time I see some updates like this, I'm always wondering, well, at some point we're going to have like asset categories and balance sheets and income statements inside of HubSpot, because otherwise you're trying to convince people to take a big portion out of QuickBooks or Stripe, but not the biggest portion.
Yeah.
And I know Chris's whole objective is the whole unified customer view, and this is a good part of it. So I get why it's good to have in there, but it always feels like you're trying to claw it away from people when you're trying to put stuff in here, and it's just really difficult to like get people on board with integrating it.
I agree. So we are at time. I do just want to like touch on this studio redesign. These are some improvements to Marketing Studio's usability, specifically being able to copy and paste nodes, which I think are like parts of the canvas. And then there's a new onboarding tour inside of Marketing Studio as well.
Nice.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rylee, for joining. I'll be back with Chris and Madeline tomorrow morning. I hope everybody has a great day. And I don't know, there's some sign off that I keep missing of Chris's. So just have a great day, everyone. I hope that everything is